welcome back to the Live Out Love podcast. Today I'm here by myself in my bedroom, so a little differently than being back at Clemson and recording in a studio with people and someone across from me when I'm talking. So this is a little different. But I just got new equipment at my house, so I'm very excited. So I thought I'd do one episode just by myself, testing out the equipment and see how it goes. So here I am today. It's kind of a gloomy day out, and I'm just kind of sitting here. I really want to tell my testimony and just this really cool God story of how me and my family moved to Greenville, South Carolina, because I feel like both those stories have really cool meaning and I feel like a lot of people could take something from those stories. So I thought I'd share and maybe that'd help you guys get to know me a little more. I feel like a lot of you guys that are listening obviously know who I am or are friends with me or family with me. But if you don't know me, my name's Olivia Earl. I am 19. I go to Clemson, that's where I normally record everything, and my guests are normally Clemson students, which is really cool for having those people on there. I'm originally from Windham, Maine, but my senior year of high school, I moved to Greenville, South Carolina with my family. I have my aunt and uncle with their kids that live in Greenville, but the rest of my family lives in Maine, so that's been really hard not being able to see them. But when I do get to see them, I look forward to it, and I love hanging out with all of them. So that's a little bit about my story that I'll probably talk about in a little bit in the episode. My favorite things to do, I really love to sing. It's just fun for me. I can kind of play the piano, can kind of play the guitar, so I like messing around with those sometimes. I love to read. I'm a really big Emily Henry book fan. I don't really like Colleen Hoover. Then my favorite like go-to book, I've talked about this before, is Single Dating Engaged Married. That's probably my favorite book I've ever read. But yeah, I love to read. What else about me? I grew up swimming in high school, but I don't really swim as much now, but I really do like working out or going on runs and doing stuff like that. I have a dog. His name's Max. He's a King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. And I just have a brother and then my parents. And yeah, life's pretty great. So yeah, coming back from school and being at home, it was a good transition. I really like being by myself and kind of just having a break from the going that you do at college, and just like reflecting on the year and all that has just been really, really cool for me to just be at peace with and have peace of like some alone time. But then I like always have to remember, like, I like get bored when I'm by myself, but then I'll be with people and I'm like wishing I was by myself. So I have to remind myself, like, it's okay to like have time to yourself and to like live in the moment, and then when you are with friends, like, enjoy that time with people. I'm still working on that, but yeah, so I kind of want to get into my testimony. I've kind of mentioned it. Excuse me, sorry, hit the mic. I mentioned this kind of like the first episode, my little 10-minute short little episode I posted, which is so funny looking back at now. Like, it was only like a couple months ago, but now I have all this like new equipment and the sound sounds so much better. And it's just such a blessing, like seeing how far you can go with a dream that you have, and which is really, really cool because this podcast has been a dream of mine, and I thought it would be a dream that I'd start kind of later in life, but I was like, hey, why not do it now? If the Lord's telling me to do something, I should just do it now. But yeah, so my testimony, I grew up in a Christian home my whole life, always been a Christian. You know, I always been a Christian, but I didn't really like understand what a relationship with the Lord meant for your own, It wasn't just like you grow up in a home, you go to church on Sundays, you do all the fun things, you go to Sunday school and VBS camps, stuff like that when you're little. And I know like a church I used to go to, like they did like all-nighters at church, or they had the youth group that you go to, which all of those play a big role in just my upbringing and raising me in a Christian home, and just being surrounded by Christian people like that through the church. But also my freshman year of high school, I went to Guatemala. Said this in previous episodes, but here's just kind of like the full deep story. I honestly don't know what came over me to go to Guatemala, because thinking back now, like, like, Olivia, like, why? I think it was really just a yes, God. And in the moment, I didn't know what it meant to just say yes to the Lord and do it. But like looking back now, like that was 100% it, because knowing myself, like I would never go to Guatemala. Not because it's like, it's not an amazing opportunity, but it's just the fact that it's outside and it's away from my family and it's traveling with like kids my age and like just like a couple adults that I don't really know yet, and in a whole new third world foreign country that I did not know. And I think this is the first time ever going out of the country. Mine is like a cruise, but that doesn't really count. Because the cruise is like in Bahamas. So I ended up doing this, which was really, really cool, and I miss this trip so much just talking about it. So my freshman year, I think it was March, yeah, March of my freshman year. We went to Guatemala, my church and I, and it was about 20 kids maybe, and I think it was like 5 adults, I believe. It was so fun. So a couple stories that are just like highlighted in my mind. When we get there, we had to drive 5 hours from the airport to the little like cabin like building we were staying in on a school bus with no air conditioning, so loud, all the windows are open. Guatemala is so hot, and this is in March too, so it was really, really hot. And I just remember so like sleep deprived because we woke up early that morning to go to the airport. So sleep deprived, so like what am I doing? Like it was scary, honestly. And like you're trusting these like foreign country drivers driving you to this random place. So I was like definitely the first part where I was like learning how to trust the Lord, and kind of just doing it on my own, which is really cool. I didn't really like know a lot of people that went on the trip with me, but I became like really close with a lot of them, which I feel like I still keep in touch with like some of them, and I still like see them on social media and stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, so we get there, get to the trip, get to the place, and it was really cool. We ended up working on site, and we like painted and we built like foundation or put in foundation, and then we like visited different like little huts that in villages that people lived in from Guatemala. And so there's little kids there, which was so adorable. Just these like kids who they have so much joy in them, and the childlike faith that people talk about all the time, like you can see right in these children, and it's just so cute. Like I miss them so much, and they were so fun, and they would just hug you and just love on you so much, and we just got to be there for them and love on them because they had nothing. Like the clothes they were wearing were probably from like the trash, like digging deep in the trash to find clothes for these kids, which is really cool. Just getting to like put a smile on their face. And one thing that the people were with asked us was not to give them toys or food or stuff like that because they don't know any different, so we only could give them water. So just like giving them water was it was just really, really cool that they appreciated that so much, when literally water is like how we live. And then we got to do crafts with them, which was just it was just really cool, just seeing the joy on these little kids' face, and it just changed my perspective on um what I was grateful for, and being, stuck up when I didn't get the right food at a shop I went to, back in the States. And it was really cool, like that perspective of it. And then one night, this lady who only spoke Spanish, she was like our cook, her name is Maria. She came around, and when we were all worshiping together, and started touching people on their backs and just praying over them in Spanish. And like every person I saw just kind of like went on their knees or like started crying or just like really felt the Holy Spirit when she touched them. And it was really cool. And so when she came to me, I just remember just fully like bawling my eyes out and just feeling the Holy Spirit in everything that she spoke over me. And that moment changed my life forever. I just remember after that moment wanting to get baptized, wanting to really like finally like have this relationship on my own with the Lord, and not just doing it because I grew up in a Christian home. And so that was really cool. Which is the funny part is the next day after that, they tell you not to drink the water in Guatemala, and I drank the water in Guatemala, and I threw up sorry TMI, but I threw up like the whole day and it was awful. And I just remember, like, you know, when you get sick, like you want your mom so bad or you want your dad so bad. And I just remember, like, I didn't even have cell service, so I had to like use someone else's phone who had like a AT&T plan. I was like calling my mom, like crying because I like didn't know what to do. And I'm just with all these kids that like they can't like comfort me. And then I'm like throwing up, sick in my bed the next day after this lady like gave me this whole revelation on me. And I'm sleeping all day and I wake up in the middle of the night, finally feeling better, and I look down, and my entire bed is covered in ants. Like, covered. And they're not just regular ants, they're like fire ants. So I'm like, what is happening? Why am I here? Like, I just want to go home, like, having this whole thing, like, freaking out about this all. And the next day after that, it was all fine. But it was definitely a learning experience for me and just growing in the trust with the Lord. Especially just like staying in like the jungle part of Guatemala and like at night hearing all like the birds chirp and all that. It was definitely like all right, God, I'm giving it all to you. Like, here it is. So yeah, so when I came back to the States, I asked my dad to baptize me, which was a really, really cool thing for me just because I look up to him so much with my walk of faith and he inspires me a lot. And same with my mom, they both are just um, really amazing in their walk with the Lord and just have so many cool God stories. And so they ended up having me get baptized on Mother's Day, which it was really cool though because like since both my parents I look up to, like I got to be baptized but on Mother's Day, so it was like kind of like the celebration of like my mom, but then also my baptism. So I loved it so much and I will remember that day forever. And that was really, really special to me. So yeah, so after that, like all through high school, I just was really trying to live for the Lord. And nobody's perfect. There's times where I would, hang out with the wrong crowd at school and kind of like, oh, forget I was a Christian. Oh, forget to go out, stuff like that. But then I'd always come back and be like, okay, Lord, like you are the one over my entire life, and I'd realize like why I'm living, and I'm living for him. And it was just really cool. Yeah. And so my junior year of high school. Okay, so there's COVID, which COVID was my sophomore year, but COVID was really beneficial for me. I, to be honest, loved it just because I got to like grow in my relationship with the Lord and really have that time to just like spend time with my family, get in a routine of like working out, reading books, reading my Bible, doing all these things I want to do, play the ukulele, play the piano, stuff like that that I didn't really have time to before. And also it was a blessing because sophomore year me was so bad at geometry. Like, I don't even know why. Like, I wish I was good at it. If anyone's good at math, like, good for you, but I just hate math. So, since it was COVID, we didn't really have to take the final. So, thank you, Jesus, because I didn't have to take the final for geometry, and I would have failed that. But, thanks to COVID, I ended up getting an B in the class, so that was good. But all these things that coming together that I was really kind of thankful for when the whole COVID isolation thing. But yeah, then junior year, we got back to school. We could go like half, partly, um, how do they do it, hybrid or whatever they do. And so I just remember it was kind of hard junior year with COVID and getting back to school and just with friends. And just like me personally, I was growing so much in my relationship with the Lord that my friends, the relationship with my friends kind of weren't growing just because they weren't fruitful. And it was really hard for me because I was just growing at a different pace that they were growing, and we all were growing in different directions. And so that was something that I had to work on and be like, it's okay that sometimes like you can grow out of your friends and make new friends when you and your friends don't have the same interests anymore. And that was something really hard. So going into the summer of my junior year, I really didn't hang out with anyone at my school, minus my friend Clara, but she was at camp the whole summer, so that was a bummer. But yeah, so I just really didn't hang out with a lot of people from my school. I worked a lot, and that was really it. And I hung out with work friends, but I just remember dreading my senior year just because I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to just do a lot of the things that they had to do. Like, there's kind of masks still in the picture, and I just didn't want to wear the mask. I wanted a normal senior year, like where you do all the fun traditions and you do all the fun things. Like there's prom, you have graduation, you do all your little traditions with Spirit Week and all the senior things you do. And I was looking forward to that so much, but I like knew I wasn't gonna have a normal senior year, and so I was really like bummed to go back to school. And I was like, honestly, like, either I don't care if I'm homeschooled, I don't care if I move, I just know I don't want to go back to school. And so I was really feeling like that, and it was hard for me because I was like, what am I gonna do? And like, knowing me, like, I hate change. So like, this also freaks me out because I'm like, I didn't want to go to school that bad that I was willing to change my entire plan after I went to a Catholic private school. I'm not Catholic, but I'm just Christian. But yeah, so I went to a Catholic private school, and it was like this good school. So, like all 4 years of my high school, I was looking forward to graduating from this amazing, really good school that, you get that high school diploma from that school, and like you can get internships, you can get things with this diploma. So I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to just going and saying I went to Cheverus High School. That was the name of it. And I still love Cheverus, but I think I was just, me personally, was just growing at a different rate that I was treading my senior year, and I didn't want to go back. And so my family at the time of my summer of my senior year, sorry, they were visiting from Greenville, South Carolina, and they were telling us that there's no mandates with COVID, that everything is like free, like people are going to school every day, like, like everyone's playing sports, everyone's allowed to go to every game, everything, like there's no like limit capacity of people. And they're just saying how much freedom there was with the whole COVID thing. And I just remember like really just feeling at peace when my aunt was telling us that. And I was in a Marshall's parking lot with my mom, sitting there, and I was just honestly like, didn't really tell her that I was dreading my senior year or anything. And she just asked me what was wrong one day in this parking lot, and I just burst out crying. And I like to tell people that I really felt like it was the Lord, like in this moment, like saying, like making me cry, because I really just felt in that moment so much peace for crying, which is really ironic. But I just remember just being like, Mom, like, I don't want to go back to school. Like, I really think we should move. And my mom was like, move? Like, where? And I was like, Mom, let's just move to Greenville. Like, let's do this. Let's move. And she's like, okay. So she calls my aunt, and, I just remember in that moment, my aunt's talking to us about all the schools, and like there's a private school and there's a public schools, and there's swim teams, and there's young life clubs, and there's FCA, which in Maine we didn't have FCA, so I was like, what's FCA? But all this stuff that she was telling me that there was opportunities, and I was like, oh, so maybe I can go to a new state and be okay. And my mom was like, well, let me talk to your dad. So she goes back, talks to my dad, and I remember them being like, if you want to move your senior year, then we will totally move for you and for this. And if you are dreading your senior year, then obviously we want you to have a good senior year. So then I remember them talking to my brother, and he was a little like not for the idea, but then he ended up being so for it, which was such a blessing, and wanted to go, even though it was hard for him because he has all these amazing friends in Maine, and just such a good community from his school. We went to 2 different high schools. So I was just like, wow, like that is some selfless commitment that he's making to go to a whole different state, like not really knowing anyone but his cousin that is a year younger than him. So they're pretty close, which is definitely a blessing too. So literally, we're like, all right, we're doing this. We're going to move. And so I'm like, okay, when are we moving? Like it was August at that time. And in Maine, school starts after Labor Day. So we're thinking, okay, we're going to move when school starts after Labor Day. But we didn't know that in South Carolina, school starts like August 24th, August, 3 days from when I said, Mom, let's move. 3 days from that was when they started school. So, my parents were like, okay, well, we want you to get you in school. Like, obviously, like, start out fresh, but you have to start, like, when they're starting. So it's not, like, weird that you're coming in, like, a week after. So we literally pack 2 cars, my car and my mom's car, full of clothes, full of everything. Got my dog, got everything, just clothes. And we drive to South Carolina. It took us 2 days. So basically, we made this crazy decision of moving to South Carolina and in 3 days. And then we got there. And then we rented an Airbnb. And then we rented an apartment. and we went to school, and then we finally have our own house, which people are like, "You're crazy. Like, you're psycho. Like, you guys are psycho." Which is funny because to my family, being spontaneous and walking out of faith with the Lord is just so prominent in our life. So this was nothing to us at all. Like, if the Lord was really calling us to move here, then we were going to do it. Like, there was nothing stopping us. So if it was in 3 days, then we were going to do it. Like, the time didn't matter. If we really felt the Lord calling us, we were just going to go. So that was really a big step. But it was also a really cool life learning lesson to know, like, when the Lord is calling you to do something, step out of faith and go do it. No matter how worried you are, no matter, oh, I'm gonna miss this at home, or my schedule, like, it's not gonna work out. Like, no, if he's calling you, like, do it. It's all gonna work out, like, eventually. And I can totally testify that, because when I moved here, I went to a private school, Hampton Park Christian School, and I literally had 19 kids in my class. But I will never regret those 19 kids in that school. Like, I loved my senior year. It was the best year I've ever had in my entire life. I met 3 of my best friends at my high school, and they're amazing. And just all the kids in my grade were just so fun, and it just felt so fun and free, and just like an amazing time. And I knew that by stepping out of faith and moving, like, the Lord, like, we saw the gifts that he was giving us after. Like, we saw the seeds growing, like, after he planted those. Or, yeah. And so it was just really cool. And that whole year was amazing. And I did all the traditions that I wanted to do my senior year. We had, for our senior year, we did like an all-nighter. And then we had like our little prom we had, and graduation, which I got to give my testimony at graduation, which was really, really cool too. And just all these things that I wouldn't have gotten to do if I was just staying in Maine. And my motto through the whole time of that season of my life is, you can't grow in the comfortable. And in Maine, I was willing to be comfortable and just, go to school and just get through the year, just get through it and not enjoy it and live in the moment and be present with that. And by stepping out of faith with the Lord, like, I was uncomfortable. My whole family was uncomfortable, but we did it. I know the day before we officially were going to start driving to South Carolina and move, I start bawling my eyes out. And I was like, are we making the right choice? Like, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's so many things that I'm going to meet. I'm leaving. Like, what? Like, I was just freaking out. But I remember my mom coming up to me and she goes, you just got to take it one step at a time. And just because we're stepping out of faith doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you're going to get through it. And you just got to take it one step at a time, and you will get through it. And I kept that what my mom said to me that whole year moving in South Carolina, because my senior year was amazing, but there definitely were times where I missed my Maine friends. I missed my family. I missed just Maine, And I just remember, okay, God, like, I'm going to get through this. It's not the end of the world. One step at a time. This is just a season in my life. And honestly, just like saying those words, it was just so cool and so freeing to be like, like, whatever season you're in, like, he's protecting you and he is helping you through it. And yeah, it was amazing. And I think it all worked out for my family. My dad loves South Carolina. My mom loves South Carolina. The weather is amazing, minus the tornado warnings, but it's okay. I'm getting through that. We don't have tornado warnings. So that's definitely a part of my life where the Lord is testing my faith and my trust in him. And I'm like, okay, I can do this, Yeah, and I think my brother's loving it. He has a girlfriend down here, which is really cool, because if we didn't move, like, he would never meet her, and she's amazing. And I think everything that we were uncomfortable with, like, coming here, and all the fears and the worries are now just subsided. And I really feel like this is where I belong, and I'll forever miss Maine. Like, it'll forever be my home. But then I get the opportunity to go back and visit, and I think going back and visiting your hometown makes you appreciate it way more. And you get to romanticize it and just kind of like live vicariously through the people that are have been there. And so that's really cool. And so I really do feel confident in the Lord and strong in where I am. And there are days when I don't feel strong and I'm sad and I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. But by knowing that he really does work, he really does hear your prayers, and he really is the Lord of your life. Like, knowing that, like, can give you so much peace. And I know it has for me. Just sitting here talking, I'm looking out my bedroom window at my beautiful neighborhood, and I'm just realizing, like, this is all because of trusting the Lord and stepping out of faith and stepping out of being uncomfortable, or being comfortable and being uncomfortable in what He has in store for you. And it ended up being so cool. So, yeah, so that was a little bit of my testimonies kind of coming together. I really do think, like, if I didn't move here, I would never gone to Clemson, like, ever. I, like, have never heard of it until I moved here. And so that was really cool, just getting the opportunity, because now when I'm in Clemson, like, I think Clemson really helped me grow in my relationship with the Lord and make friendships with people who hold me accountable and who are strong believers in their faith, And so that has helped me so much too. And just like seeing all the fruit, um, grow, and in everyone's season of life living here is just really, really cool. And just meeting these amazing people that I'm like, wow, like, how did I not know you before? Like, it's just really cool. And I just really feel so loved here. And I felt so loved in Maine, but I think it's when you move somewhere, it's scary because you're like, oh, you don't really know anyone. Like, you're not gonna know anyone. Like, this is scary. You're gonna be lonely. But I didn't feel that one bit at all. I didn't feel lonely one bit at all. Like, I feel loved, just because of all the people in the community that I've met so far. And it's crazy just seeing all the people that I've met in a year, and how many more people, and how much closer I can grow with the people I've already met in the years to come, which is just amazing. And I just thank the Lord every day for that, and just for letting my whole family be okay to the spontaneousness of just stepping out of faith and taking a little leap and moving where God wanted us to move for this season of our life. And so it's just been awesome. That's really all I got for you. I'm excited for more guests to come on the podcast. I'm trying to get some people who maybe don't live in the state, or maybe I'll bring the podcast when I go to Maine and get some of my Maine people to talk on it, which would be amazing. But yeah, that's really it. I'm gonna pray us out, and I just hope you guys have a great summer, and just really take this summer to have a restful break and be at peace with the Lord and with yourself and with your family. If there's any friendships and people that like aren't settled, and you should probably make things right, go make them right. Go pray about it. Like, I think this is a season of just rest and just being with the Lord and growing as a person. I really believe this summer is what that's about, and I really believe that the Lord has it in store for you guys too. So, dear Lord, thank you for every person listening right now. Thank you for their hearts. Thank you for just the way that they live out for you, Lord. I just pray that you let them have a restful summer, and that you give them peace in everything they do. Lord, I just pray that you give them strength for maybe some hardships that might come their way, and maybe they're grinding at work. Help them to keep a positive attitude. And even though they're away from all their friends at college, if they're listening and they go to college, Lord, that they will find different opportunities this summer, and maybe step out of their comfort zone and be uncomfortable in different things. Maybe they'll help them grow more, Lord. And I just pray for um, everyone listening, and just for this summer and what's there to come. I pray for the people at camp and growing closer to you at camps, working there, serving, or being a camper themselves. Lord, I just pray for everyone this summer. And yeah, we love you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, thank you so much, guys, for listening to my testimony and a little bit about my really amazing story about stepping out of faith and just going where the Lord is telling you to go. So if that's you, like, go step out of faith, go listen to where the Lord is telling you to go. I believe He has something so big in store for you. And you guys are all so special, and you're all so loved. So yeah. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye.